sorry we weren't able to have a nice breakfast for you out on the patio, Uncle Eddie, but the weather made that impossible.
Oh, never mind, Paige. It was a great breakfast anyway.
Well, considering that we didn't have anyone to serve it. We used to have a maid, you know, Eddie. But you may have heard that she didn't work out too well. We had to let her go. You know.
Dad has a very grisly sense of humor, Eddie. It must be the weather.
Well, I think the weather is absolutely perfect, considering what we've all been talking about. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. It's just the perfect atmosphere to discuss Mansion of the Damned.
Yeah, well, the only thing that's wrong with it is that Eddie and I were supposed to go out and scout locations today.
I still think you should go out and scout locations, Daddy. How are you going to know the place is right unless you see it with lightning flashing over it?
Are you really looking for a real house, Dad? One of those old, gloomy Victorian mansions?
Well, I don't have much hope for that idea. Gloomy old Victorian mansions usually have gloomy old families living in them. I don't think they're going to like the idea of us moving in with lights and cameras.
Well, maybe you can find some unoccupied house on. I mean, you know Monticello better than I do, but surely there must be some old place.
Yeah, one that has a reputation for being haunted.
Well, I don't know of any such place. I got in touch with some real estate people. Fortunately, they weren't too thrilled with the idea. They want to sell houses, not rent them out to independent movie producers.
Well, of course, the most reliable way to shoot this movie would be in the studio. Are you guys really certain that you wouldn't even consider temporarily moving back to Hollywood?
Oh, I wouldn't. Of course, my opinion doesn't count for too much. I mean, you really don't need me on this project, right?
Brian, don't say that. We need everyone in this room. This is a family venture, and don't anyone forget that. Isn't that right, Owen?
I agree with Brian. We said we'd shoot this movie in Monticello, and that's exactly what we should do.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't think we can afford to do anything else. I don't even think we can afford to shoot Mansion of the Damned right here, if you want to know the truth.
You've got to admit that we're saving a lot of money on salaries since nobody here is taking any money.
Yeah, well, Eddie, there still are other people to cast, you know, and good ones. There's a fiancé, for instance. Mr. Harriman, of course. It's not going to be easy trying to find someone to play the devil himself.
I'm not so sure you shouldn't be trying to cast the part of Patience, too.
Oh.
Daddy, I'm terrified at the thought of getting in front of a camera.
Paige, you will be terrific. I just can't wait to see you in a hoop skirt.
You'll be great, Paige. You and Nola both. You know, the more I read this script, the greater I think you two are going to be.
Miss Innocent and the Wicked Old Witch.
Eddie, listen, are you sure that we're not going to run into any lawsuits over this screenplay? Now, I know you own the rights, but the author did actually get the material from an autobiography, and that worries me.
But it was an unpublished autobiography, Owen. That's the whole difference. You see, you can't copyright real life, fortunately.
No, but you can be sued by real people if you expose them to ridicule.
Well, darling, the people in this manuscript have been dead for over 100 years. Isn't that what you said, Eddie?
Yeah, they're all dead. Yeah. At least I hope they are.
Oh, I wish I could have read the original manuscript. The one the author found in that attic. That's how it happened, you know. He was visiting some maiden aunt who owned an old house in Salem.
Well, where is the original manuscript?
Well, it was burned, you know. Actually, the wife of the author burned it. Well, she and Don were having marital difficulties while he was working on the project, and, well, too bad because, well, they'd been happily married for 19, 20 years, and then, well, you know, it was only a couple of weeks after that Don was killed when he was thrown from that horse.
You said it was a very gentle horse, Eddie, remember?
Well, that was the story. It was the kind of a horse they let little kids ride, but sure threw poor Don that day.
Well, you know, there's one legend that says the devil can take the form of an animal, particularly a horse.
Who knows? Maybe the devil doesn't want us to make this movie.
He's probably seen the bottom line, that's why.
Well, you remember what happened when they tried to make Mansion of the Damned before? Twice, as a matter of fact. Both leading ladies died.
Mom, I'm not sure I like this kind of talk.
Brian, they died of perfectly natural causes.
Well, maybe so, but just the same, I wouldn't count on getting me insured during this production, darling.
Well, I think Brian's right. All this talk about jinx is absolutely foolish.
Oh, what's the matter with everyone? You mustn't take it so seriously. I think it's terribly exciting, making a movie with a curse on it.
Well, maybe it's the spirit of the witch, Hester Atherton herself. Maybe she's angry because that book about her wasn't published. And now we've stolen her story.
Well, she's probably just some demented old bat who could have used a couple of hours in the psychiatrist's house.
Well, I still think the curse came from the devil. Maybe the foul fiend doesn't want anyone to know this story, since Hester Atherton beat him at his own game. You can't beat the devil and get away with it, can you?
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind. And frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts